Can be used with any markets, but I am going to primarily touch base on stock options. I've created this pamphlet for my team here, and it's basically showing you what I do, what I document. And of course, you can use TradeZella, which I absolutely love, or you can, do this the old-fashioned way, and that's what I'm going to show you. So besides writing it down, I like having visuals. So for example, this is SPX. This is something that I trade primarily. And I am not one of those people that trade it first thing in the morning. I like the later in the day setups or later in the morning setups. So I'm collecting data just to confirm that to show my team, and I'm going to show you how I do that. So for example, right here on the top left-hand side, this is the 30-minute time frame. You can see where like basically the first hour and a half, we had a lot of wick action. Now this is good if you're on a smaller time frame, but you can see where there's kind of like a lot of back and forth, and I was looking for a continuation and the trend. Now, I noticed there was market structure here, which I identified. That retest was the 11:30 a.m. to 12 p.m. candle. Once that was identified, I go down to the 15-minute time frame. I can see that I have essentially two hammer candles rejecting that structure, which are tweezer bottoms. And I see that it's respecting that. So you can see where we have a wick here respecting the structure, respect, respect, respect. This is a good sign because essentially what the market did, broke out, retested, gave me a nice hammer candle, pushed up, gave me a double retest with two candles confirming on the higher time frame, which is a really good sign. And it continued to go up, surpassing this previous high. And there was market structure there that I had notated. Now, to find that entry, what I did was I identified the close of these candles here, and I waited for the market to create a retest, an obvious retest. Now, we had two retests that occurred. We have this retest here that happened from 12:10 to 12:15 p.m. And then we had the bigger retest that basically occurred an hour after that 30-minute candle close. So what I'm going to do this week is observe it and do the same thing every single day to see if I wait 1 hour after that candle closes, does it give me a better setup, or do I need to get in at the immediate retest? And this was just a one-time thing or a rare thing that occurred. So that is something that I'm going to keep in mind as I'm documenting. Another thing that I'm going to keep in mind, which I notated here, is go to your premium contract and find out how much would this have cost. Would you have experienced any drawdown during this particular retest? If not, cool. If so, write it down and see if that's something that you can handle. Because just because it looks good on the chart does not mean that you can handle the drawdown percentage or that risk. So you need to make sure you can handle that. The next thing that I look into is how long did it take to play out? This trade took 2.5 hours to play out. So it took an hour after the retest, the Dragonfly retest on the 30 minutes for the cleaner setup, and then it took 2.5 hours to play out. Return on this was absolutely amazing. So now I have data that I can work with. Number one, am I comfortable trading these times? Number two, it's a setup cleaner around this time to trade SPX. Number three, the profits are better if I wait until a little bit later to trade and there's less drawdown. And then lastly, I'm going to think about, do I have 2.5 hours to let this play out? Is that the average time that it takes for my trade to play out? If so, I need to keep that in mind so that I am not looking for an immediate return as soon as I get into the trade. I'm not scalping, I'm waiting, I'm day trading. So I have to let it do its own thing. So those are things that you do want to go ahead and back test. And you're going to do this every day. When the market closes, go back, research the contract, look at the premium chart, see how it correlates to your entries on your actual chart. And if you can afford it, if the drawdown is good, and then which setup is going to be best for you. Is it going to be the earlier setup, or is it going to be the later in the day setup? Now, we do know SPX likes to move also in the afternoon as well. This particular setup works for my schedule. So you want to do your own research. Just don't assume because I'm showing you this is the only time that you can trade it, because that's not the case. We do have power hour, which many of you know. And some of you like to trade it first thing in the morning. That's just not how I trade it. So I hope this helps. Use this as a guide and a reference. Make sure you are notating it. You can use Google Docs if you want to just take screenshots and just identify it all. Start becoming familiar with market structure, the type of entries that your ticker gives, And you're going to see that the data that you're collecting is going to help build your confidence. So test that out, practice, 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 and I wish you the best of luck.